What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to a returning episode of a pretty popular series that we did before, the window shopping on the Central Market. So this time, it's been a while. We're just going to be taking a quick look at everything, see how the prices of like the high ticket items are, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. So that's basically the concept of this series, where we just look at price trends and see what's all popular. So right now, with the Mountain of Eternal Winter region area, the Labresca helm is pretty big. The Black Star offhand is a new item. The Flame of Frost are big ticket items right now, popular ones. But we'll get around to that when we go through everything else. Yeah, let's start with the main weapons. So years ago, they changed all the weapons to be more or less the same in terms of like minimum and maximum prices. So we don't have to look at all of them like we did in the first season. We just pretty much just pick one and we'd look at it. So I guess it's a little bit different in a way that the meta classes will generally have either more or less items than other ones. But we're just going to look at DK because that's what I know and what I want to see. So let's start off with Zarka, because Zarka is actually, I don't think it's bad. It's still good if you are a newer player, but eventually your end game goal is to transition into either Pen Blackstar or a C20 Zarka, which ultimately is the same thing, just no monster damage. So I don't think Zarka is actually bad. It's just because Blackstar is a thing, people want the absolute best, even though in PvP it's not really any different. But yeah, I would say if you are a beginner or intermediate player, like mid-tier, Zarka, not bad. You just have to cap rest. The difference is you get small gains midway from Tet to Pen. So like for Blackstar, if you're at Tet, you can't cap rest it, whereas Zarka, you can. So you get small gains on the way from C0 to C20, whereas Tet to Pen, you're kind of just stuck with it until it goes up. So prices, like 7.5 billion. Seen it's kind of going down, but whatever. Holy, often. So I knew often was always like never the best choice, and there's a very small window on when often is actually good for you, and that goes for all classes as well. So it's like before you can hit 261 AP with the Zarka, this is when often would be good. But nowadays, it's pretty easy to get a Zarka, or just get 261 AP in general. Tuvala means you're basically there. Well, almost. 230 or something. And then, so getting another 30 AP is not that bad. So, yeah, that's why I think often is kind of a dead item nowadays. So, yeah, small window between when you should get it or use it and when it just becomes bad. So, nowadays with the free pen accessory quest, the free pen armors and weapons, and all that stuff, and just like how much stuff they give you for free just by playing the game. Yeah, I think you would. Zarka is always a good beginner choice. Blackstar, the one you want to transition to eventually. So, can't say you really want often ever. Blackstar, the price is going down on the main hand slightly. So would I get a Tet Blackstar or a Pen Zarka? The answer probably would be depending. I don't know. They're both good. Whether do you grind a lot for your money or do you life skill? But then either way, I think whichever one is cheaper. That's just my ultimate option. Pen Blackstar, still max price. Will probably be max price for another few years. Alright, next weapon. Let's go look at the sub-weapons. I guess we'll just go down to order. Now this is for Dark Knight, a tricky one because Dark Knights don't really have accuracy. Well, they do have an accuracy offhand, but they don't have like evasion ones that are good. So for example, like the parrying dagger or something for Witch Wizard Ranger, that one's really good for them. For Dark Knights and Zerkers, all we have is the Sayer Ornamental Knot, and it does give you quite a bit of accuracy, which is good, but the trade-off is quite a bit of AP, and DP is kind of irrelevant, honestly. So I have a pen one, but it's just, have I ever used it? I think I've used it maybe once since I made it. I should probably put a corrupted crystal in there, to be honest, instead of a regular crit one, but ultimately I don't use it enough to care. So is it worth getting? Probably not. It's really easy to make though, so like could probably make it yourself in under 2 billion. Kudum versus Nuver. I've actually been watching the Kudum thing and it's going down in price. Well, slightly up, but realistically it's down. Ever since the, well, I guess this goes for all classes. Ever since the Black Star came out, the Kudum one is kind of down. Now, I do wonder what they're going to do in the future for Nuver, if they're going to make a new, like, I don't think they're going to make a Black Star that's for the Nuver, so this is probably going to be a separate own thing for another few years. So yeah, 8 bill, slightly higher than the Kudum, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the Black Star is for the Kudum, not Nuver. So you still want to have both of them in general. In Dark Knights, particularly, do you want a Nuver? That's a kind of a question I get a lot. Should I get a Nuver for certain classes? And ultimately, if your class is DR, then yes, you probably want a Nuver for your damage. Just it is better. If you're evasion, you probably want like something that stacks more evasion, but ultimately for Dark Knights, yes, you want both of them. It doesn't really matter whether you get a Kudum or Black Star. Ultimately, the difference between the Black Star and the Kudum at Tet level is just a small amount of monster damage reduction, and yeah. So when I had my Kudum, I had like Capris 9 or 10 into the Kudum. I extracted it during the event to get a Black Star. Was it a good idea? Realistically, no, because I lost more stats extracting 10 levels of Capris stones to get a Black Star. But my eventual goal is to get triple pen Black Stars, so was it worth it? Not really, but I think my ultimate goal is to just save up enough silver, 100 billion, put an order on whichever Black Star comes up next, and hopefully get it. So that was my reasoning. I lost some stats, or went down some gear score. Not that it matters, just to do it. So right now I have a Tet Ornamental Knot. You guys can actually watch that for a video. It was like a 45-minute video of me enhancing, doing some pen attempts of Black Star, and then trying to get it back to Tet. That was a fun experience I don't really ever want to do again. But yeah, ultimately, I've never heard this music before. But yeah, right now, the Tet Black Star is kind of like the most expensive thing. So if you are like budget or you're going to Capris route, ultimately, I don't think it's like a high priority. So if you have a Kudum, it's not bad. Don't worry about it. Just keep Caprising it. If they'll probably come out with another event sometime in the future where it's like, oh, 1 cap or 1 silver extraction, cool, take it all out again. So yeah, ultimately, the difference is so minimal. Like, this is what it looks like. So you get 2 more monster damage and 2 damage reduction, and this is the difference. But if you already have Capris in it, obviously it's going to be better. So take that how you will. Awakening weapons. Now for me, Dark Knights in particular, I play both Succession and Awakening. I think I lean a little bit more towards the Awakening side. But I play Succession when it comes to certain grind spots, like when we do Elvia grinding, or we're doing the Jade Starlight Forest for the Labresca Helm Flame. I tend to go Succession just because I get clear speed is a little bit faster for me. But when I'm doing PvP, I'm most likely in Awakening. So that's a thing. All right. I kind of wish that they revamped some of these things to make them like more on an equal level. Well, I wouldn't say equal because obviously we want the boss gear to be better than green gear, but make these more competitive in a way. So, question that you guys have been asking: Dandy versus Blackstar. One of those, do you PvP or PvE more? If you PvP, I think the Dandy is still better. I've heard people say like a green offhand at try with like Capris 20 is better than the Dandy at pen because there's like more accuracy or something. It really is one of those weird things I can't really recommend. It probably is stat wise better, but how do I say this? Over the years, I've always had this mentality. You can watch my old videos from years ago, back when we were looking at accessories. I've always had this mentality of like dead end upgrades. So one example I could give you that we've talked about many years ago was a what is it? Those earrings or something? Actually, let me just go show you this now. It might be easier to just show it and explain. So earrings. So back in the day, there was a blue whale molar earring. At Tet, it would give 13 AP and 10 accuracy. The price was back in the day like 5 or 6 billion. So just keep that in mind. Now, the alternative that people would choose was a Tritungrad earring. Now, the difference is 2 accuracy, very minimal. And keep in mind, back in the day, the price would also be around 6 billion silver. So, the thing is, if you were to get a Tungrad earring, you can enhance it to Tet, and it would be somehow, it would just like be better if it went up. Now, if you went the blue whale molar earring route, yeah, you would have more accuracy when you bought it and the extra AP, but the chances of you getting pen, and even if you did get pen, it's a dead end upgrade. You're stuck with this one. And so yeah, one of those things where you just lose money on if you have it. It's cool. I guess you could say it's cool to have it. One of those keep for memento's sake. But yeah, I don't like going the dead end route in terms of upgrade. I feel like I'm just lighting money on fire at that time. And even now I still have that same mentality. So that's why when it comes to people saying, oh, get like Capris 20 and a green offhand or green awakening or something, I'm just like, yeah, it might be temporary upgrades for now, but then once you suddenly hit your Pen Blackstar Capris 20 in your Vedian, suddenly that investment you made in this one, probably not the smartest. And you'd be lighting money on fire, extracting the Capris and all that stuff. So that was my rant. Basically, Dandy and the Blackstar, both still good. I think your ultimate endgame goal would be a Pen Blackstar. Obviously, easier said than done. But yeah, let's see the price on that. Yeah, I think this is actually my next goal. I would like to get this 9 AP upgrade. It's pretty big. So, yeah, that's the thing. I really just need to just... We're past the halfway point, though, for putting money or saving money and being able to order one. My first Pen Blackstar that I bought, it took me quite a while. Like, I had an order on it for about a month and a half, and I was literally putting my order on every black star that went up on the market, and I just kept losing them. So yeah, I guess I'll get it when I get it, hoping for the best. Armors. Now this one, it's a little less complicated than the weapons, because helmets right now, Libresca, best in slot. Griffin versus Gaiath, ultimately it doesn't matter anymore. Like, eventually your goal is to get the Libresca helmet. It's new now, but give it like 6 months, maybe even less, you'll see more of them sitting on the market. The ones that are sitting are a try. And I thought about it. At one point I was like, should I just save up money and buy a try? And the answer ended up being no, because even if I got a base one, like, I'm already ready. I'm just grinding for the flame, and once I get it, we're getting the helm, then we're gonna enhance it. No big deal. So I think I can get a try Libresca in under 40 billion silver. So assuming you have the base, and a try is what, 90 billion? 90 billion? Yeah, I'll just say that. Easy number. From 30 to 90, yeah, that's 60 billion. I think I can make that significantly cheaper. So, plus I have the stacks for it anyway. So, ultimately, I'm going to self-make it. In terms of Gaiath versus Griffin, now that Libresca is a thing, it's slightly less important, but the Griffin is still a little bit better. Now, all resistance, 5%, is slightly better than an extra 100 HP. Because with today's gear checks and all that stuff, 100 HP is not saving you much, but it might help you when you're grinding, but not in PvP. So you'd rather have the resistances, because getting grabbed, getting CC'd is pretty much the way to get people these days. So if that 5% helps you, good. Everything else, irrelevant. You know, I've always said this, and this isn't even a problem with BDO exclusively, it's literally every MMO. So they have gear that they made 7 years ago or whatever. Like, think of literally every other MMO. They have outdated gear like this. Now, I wish they would phase these out of the game and just make something better, but I don't know. Like, just stop introducing garbage like this, and then make these slightly easier to get, because Libresca is not easy to get. So getting the boss gear should be easier. Then the goal would be capressing it to 10 and grinding for your flame or whatever, and this is the ultimate goal. 5 years down the line, to probably make something better than this. So yeah, having all this, no one uses these, even beginners. Even if you're like a beginner, day one, and you're figuring out what Tuvala is better than all of these. And that goes for everything. So yeah, same with armors. Black Star armors in general, that goes for all of these. Black Star armor, it was made because it's an option you get when Caprus aren't available on the market. So back in the day, there's actually a permanent Caprus shortage, and people would choose this route because they weren't able to get like Caprus 9 or something in their boss armor. So this is another option to get the Fallen God back in the day. So basically, if you can buy Caprus on the market, then Black Star is not really a good option, because as we were talking about earlier, in terms of like dead end upgrades, you need a pen Black Star to upgrade it into a Fallen God, which is the best in slot currently. And as you guys know, getting any pen is not easy. And so Yeah, it is cheaper overall and 0 risk to just buy a pen and Capris it to 10, whereas if you have like a Tet already, you would be losing money selling it, and you'd be losing money trying to enhance it. Unless you one-tap it, it's not a good idea. So nowadays, it's a little different. You could just buy Fallen God off the market, but if you are a new player or looking into making it yourself because you like your name on it, the Red Nose route instead of the Dim Tree armor is slightly cheaper because for some reason, getting to Capris level 10 in a Red Nose is cheaper, or it requires less Capris to get than a Dim Tree armor. But back in the day, Dim Tree was best in slot because people valued the extra HP over the HP recovery. This is a weird thing in literally every RPG game I play. Recovery is not that good. I don't think there's ever been a game where a flat pool of HP will ever compete or will ever be worse than recovery. So it's one of those things you have to think about. And I don't think in any MMO or RPG game I've played, recovery is better than a flat pool of stats. But yeah, anyway, if you're looking to just get the fastest route, obviously it would be to buy it. But if you want to do it yourself or you're already midway, the Red Nose route to get to Fallen God is cheaper than Dim Tree. So that's a thing. But yeah, like I said before, all these green armors, kind of irrelevant. Tuvala better. Black Star gloves. One of those dead end upgrades. Beg is for DR players. Libers is for evasion players. Which one is better? Depends on the class you play, ultimately. I, to this day, still have no idea who actually uses these, unironically. I always thought people just made it for, like, easy profits, but enhancing Black Star is, like, not profit, ever. Well, at least I've never made profit off of it. So, dead end upgrade, DR option, evasion option. Realistically, it's probably cheaper to go the Muskin route. If you're looking to just light money on fire and get it to C10 waiting for it, Muskin is probably cheaper than Uragon's, but again, I would not do that just to hold on to it. Get what you need first. For example, of like, I am a Dark Knight, I play DR right now, so this would just be the way to go. And yeah, I don't know what to say. Just don't buy Black Star shoes. Get whatever your class needs. If you don't know, ask in the comments. I'll guide you in the right direction to the best of my ability. This is something into functional. We're getting into the life skill territory. This is something I've actually been thinking of doing. I should probably get a processing close, to be honest. I had one at Tet and sold it because it's like, oh, I needed to 4 bill at the time. But yeah, in terms of fishing, I actually do have a Monos Fisher close, but I still use the Silver Embroider fishing one. Where is it? Can't find it. Oh, there it is. I still actually just use this one because I want the fishing XP for some reason. Even though fishing XP is like the most irrelevant thing after like Artisan or Master. I don't know. But yeah, in terms of like money, you're probably better off actually using Monos, but I just want the XP for some reason. So, in terms of life skill close, it's kind of hard to... Well, it's not really hard. There's some things that is actually better to do. So, like, let's take cooking, for example. if you do Imperial cooking plus regular cooking, you want the XP for cooking clothes. So what does that mean? You would be using the base, like the OG silver embroider for the cooking XP. So that means you get more mastery overall. And then if you're doing Imperial trade-ins and stuff later, that's when you turn it in, because you get more money from trade-ins with the higher your mastery. And so you have to swap between it. So maybe one day I'll enhance the cook's clothes to Tet. I know I have it somewhere. At least I think I have it somewhere. I thought I had it somewhere. Maybe I sold it. Anyway. Yeah. It's one of those things you kind of have to know how to manage. Do I want 30 Capris or 30 Cronstones? I don't know. I have a card for it too. So it's like, do I want 30 crons or not really? The answer is I have no idea. 1 second. Let me reset my processing. Oh yeah, one thing they added in the recent patch was remember when they had like 7 colored processing stones? They combined it all into one. So that's a good thing, actually. And now that people have an all-in-one, I can actually process and not have to spend like 40 billion silver on that. So that's good. For all of the people who had like Tets and Pens, processing stones in general, you probably just made fat silver by selling all of the other ones. Because if you had multiple stones, they gave you like a coupon thingy, and you could redeem it for a stone, or you could sell it to the vendor for max market price. And so I had a couple of them, and you only need one, so I just kept one and then sold the rest. Eventually, my goal is to try to hit a Pen Monos processing stone. I think that would just be cool to have a Pen Rainbow Candy. So, yeah. In terms of armors, life skilling depends what you need, but I would say for the most part, go for the Monos thing. But then some of them, like cooking and alchemy, you really kind of need to have both of them depending on what you do. So, yeah, it's 2022. I would probably not recommend going the blue blue route. Just go straight up Monos. You can buy it off the market. It's pretty cheap, and upgrade from there. Accessories. This is the fun part because everyone has their own build in a way. Monos, life skill route, full AP, accuracy, health, and OG, DR, and everything else here is irrelevant. I wish they would just take these out of the game, to be honest. Not only would it save like coding just to remove it from the game, it would be less confusing for newer players. Like, imagine a day one player and then you get some random rings and stuff, and you're like, how do I read this? So I still remember back in the day when I first started this game, they gave you like a welcome box, right? So like if you buy the packages, or you know how like if you're a new player, you get some welcome bundles in your mail, just open it, they give you like some free head start or whatever items. So they gave me a Bassi belt, and I didn't really know what the what AP accuracy. So when I first started, I looked at the item effect more than anything. So I was like, okay, so what does this belt do? Like, keep in mind, first few days playing the game, this was 2014 or something. And then it's just like, okay, not knowing what AP and accuracy, how that scaled and how that actually worked. It's like, okay, item effect, 80 weight, right? And so obviously they didn't have a lot of the they didn't have like a lot of these yellow accessories yet. So what I was comparing it to back in the day, I guess, was they did have monos. They had these, which is kind of weird. And so like I had a Bassi belt, 5 AP, 80 weight. So what was I comparing it to? I was comparing it to like weapon cores and Schultz belts and I don't know what else did they have, like all of these thingies. So I was like, oh, okay, this one is good, I think. And then when you compared it to, I don't know, what did they have back in the day? So tree spirit belts were actually used back in the day. Telling you all these boomer stories of me playing this game many years ago. This was the budget option to people who couldn't get Bassi belts. So back in the day, I was like, okay, so do I want a Pry Bassi belt? Keep in mind that Try meant you were like a god gamer back in the day. So Pets and Pens did not exist. And if you had one, you were basically in the 1% of geared players. So yeah, I would compare it to, it's like, okay, so a Tet or Duo Bassi was probably like 4 billion silver back in the day. Or we could get a Tree Spirit belt that was like Duo and Try, and then that was like 2 billion silver. Times have changed, clearly. But yeah, these were the options we were looking at, and it was good times. Actually, no, it wasn't, because for everyone who's starting the game nowadays and you only know Central Market, back in the day, if I just said that like 7 or 8 times. But yeah, so if you didn't know Central Market, that's a good thing, actually. You would be surprised if Black Desert ever made this, like, you know how all MMOs are doing, insert MMO classic version. Trust me when I say most of you guys would not like old school BDO. And the way they have it now, it's kind of similar in terms of registration queue. So you wait like 10, 15 minutes or whatever, and then your item that's get listed, just put an order on and get it. Sometimes. But back in the day, there would be a bidding system. So let's say you wanted, I don't know, you wanted an ogre ring, and there were no minimums. Well, there was a minimum and a maximum price, but it's like if it's not maximum, you're not getting it. So they had a bid if there were no like whatever ogre rings listed on the market. You could put in a actual number, and let's say you could put 1 billion silver to get a base ogre ring, and whoever had the highest bid would obviously get it. The thing is, you wouldn't know how much other people bid, which is, well, that's how it works. But you should have seen back in the day how much people paid for like memory fragments. We have a hard cap nowadays at 3 million. People would spend like 5 to 10 million per one. It was kind of wild, and that was old school market. And if you only know Central Market, it's good, because it's a good thing. It's a very good upgrade in general. So if you see people complaining that like, oh, the market registration queue is stupid for items over 10 billion silver to make it fairer to people who want to get high ticket items, well, back in the day, you should see people spending billions on items that were clearly not worth that much. Myself included. Tell you a little story. I remember this back in the day as well, and I think I might still have a video. I never actually got a Tet Tungred. Oh, actually, did I? I don't remember. I might have had a Tet Tungred. But getting a Try one, the market price would have been like 6 billion silver. Or actually, no. Was it Tet? I think for a Tet, I paid like 10 billion. It's not pretty, but that's how much it cost back in the day. And then I remember just straight up putting a bid on it for like 10 or 11 billion. Yeah, fun times. But yeah, nowadays, distos or narc earrings for most things you're doing. Tungrads kind of fell off. And you either want an accuracy if you're going that route. Full AP would be disto. And narc is for the people who have too much AP and need more DP, which is probably the route I'm going to go in eventually. Not that I have too much AP, but eventually I do want more survivability at a trade-off of a little bit of damage. So my ultimate goal would be to get rid of the double distos that I have and go double narcs, but that is when I have like triple pen black stars and basically full pen accessories. So not for a while. Lightstones. This is a fun one. I don't even know where to start. It really depends on your class. Do you know how to play it? What does your class do? For Dark Knights, the critical damage is very, very good. Special attack, this one's good. Strike is good. I don't have this. I'm trying to get one, but turns out it's not as easy as it looks. Right now, what do I have? I have the... What is the one that you can actually get? Hold on. I think I have like an air attack one, because that was the only one I could buy at the time. Like, it's not that I don't use any air attacks, like Airstrike, Wheel of Fortune, Slanted Balance. Those are all air attacks. It's not like I'm just putting a crystal or a lightstone in for no reason. But if I were to pick, I think I would choose crit damage or frenzy. But one thing I really wish would be a quality of life thing for all of us who, you know, do more than one thing. Like we do life skilling, grinding, PvPing, PvEing. I wish they had another tab like for your inventory, and it would just be literally lightstones or all that stuff. Well, you know what they could do? Add a tab like down here or something, or even on the side, and you can save presets for your lifestones or lightstones and artifacts. So it's like you can set them the same way you would do presets for your Awakening Succession. Yeah, just add one for lightstones, and then you still have to set it. Like, you still have to have the thing first and before you set it. So it's like, oh, you just click the button. Do I want to grind today? Do I want a life skill? Literally, biggest quality of life thing they could add would be a preset for your artifacts and lifestones. Because I know you could just hotbar them or travel bag, but there's not enough quick slots for doing that. So yeah, just make it the same way you do this. You can even have people buy the slots. Like, you make money, Pearl Abyss, you make money. Players don't have to manage our inventory for an extra few minutes. It's a win-win for everyone, right? Of course, it would be nicer if it was free, just throwing it out there. But, I mean, if all of us to do all this stuff, then I wouldn't mind. There's actually a lot more stuff to do, but I think I'm going to save it for another video. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a quick like, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. So, you know, maybe we'll try to do this like once a week, once every 2 weeks, because the market does move, but sometimes looking at the same things over and over again are kind of tedious. But next time, we'll go to the second half of Lifestones. We'll finish up some accessories and then go down to the rest of them. So see you guys later.